dominant and the man should be the submissive. That's
what you're because y'all follow commands. You go do. You go do. And she gonna tell you what to do. Because here's the thing. If y'all don't have somebody telling y'all what to do, y'all are going to be reckless. And so women are divorcing y'all in these relationships because they are allowing you to quote unquote lead, and they're being submissive. And since y'all can't lead yourself, y'all leading her into the ground. So here's the thing. The natural order is for the feminine to be the leader. If you give to the feminine, right, the feminine is always going to regenerate life and everybody's going to be taken care of. Y'all are territorial. Y'all just want the image of leadership. You just want to be out in public. I'm the leader, but all of the responsibility is actually on the woman. The leader takes the majority of the responsibility. If women allow men, which means she submit, all right, and allow him to lead, she don't have no control over what he's going to do. She's steady submitting to him. Women have to change their minds and realize that they ain't supposed to submit to men because men just going to do what you allow them to do, because they don't have no governor on their own behavior to know when to not do something, to know better. They don't know. They just going to keep being reckless. And they're not going to take care of your feelings because they're only concerned about theirs.
Hi guys, welcome in to Bourbon Nights, Real Talk with Men. And as you've seen, tonight we have an amazing show with a very interesting topic. If you just finished watching that little clip of the Queen Maker, also known as Auntie, that is going to be our topic tonight. The submissive man. These are not our views, but this is our topic. I am Love's Passion. I am your clinical certified sexologist. And come explore your passion for pleasure with Love's Passion. And here are the rest of our guests. Our co-host, I'm sorry.
Hi, I am the April Michelle, owner of 2 multi-million-dollar companies, transformational therapist and coach. I am introducing our guest tonight. Our first guest is Levi Reid. Let's extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest, the dynamic entrepreneur and co-owner of the impactful Redox for Life podcast, Worldview and Network Marketing Hacks, along with his partner in everything, Renee. Through these platforms, they're enlightened listeners with unique perspectives and valuable insights, driving positive influence across the globe. Their innovative strategies and entrepreneurial spirit are a testament to their commitment to inspire and equip others for success in business and in life. Levi Reid.
Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Levi. How are you?
I am great. How about yourselves?
We're good.
Excellent. Okay. It is awesome to be on the Bourbon Nights podcast show. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay.
Well, listen, we have our co-host that didn't get to introduce herself.
No, I'll go after Ty. I'm sorry.
All right.
Awesome. Next, we have Ty Jones. He is the VP of Operations for a record label, also the general manager for the women's professional football team, Dallas Elite Mustangs. Also has a certified life coach, a published book title, 10 Commandments to Self-Preservation, which you can find on Amazon. Let's welcome Ty. How are you this evening?
I'm all right, ladies. How are you? How you doing, Brother Levi? Thanks for having me. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you, Ty.
Nice
well, guys, my name is Vicki Walls. I'm also a co-host as well. I am a licensed professional counselor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am CEO of the Better You Counseling Center and Sister Girl Empowerment. And welcome to tonight's show, which is Should Men Be Submissive? We cannot wait to hear what Levi and Ty has to say about this topic. So, guys, we're going to pull it on over to you and let you guys share your perspective or opinion of should men be submissive.
Brother Levi, would you like to go first?
Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. Well, should men be submissive? Well, the thing is, absolutely. I think it works both ways too. It all depends on, if the gentleman is following, a righteous path and, and just going from, if he's on a straight narrow path, building a relationship and within his home and outside relationship with others, especially mainly with God. So it starts there first. If you keep God at the head of your life, then and then you're submissive, under God, then also you can be submissive to to your partner.
Okay.
All
right.
Okay. I like that. What do you think, Ty?
Okay, so I think there is a balance between men being submissive, right? And I'm totally understanding about if your man is submissive to his creator, right, to God, right? Mm-hmm. Then biblically we say that the man is supposed to be submissive to God and the woman submissive to her man, correct? And mm-hmm. I think that if we give that word submission, it carries a lot of weight. And I think we just use it sometimes just to use it as a form of control, but not a form of understanding. And I think that we have to get the full understanding of it, because even if you're submissive to me as my woman, but I'm submissive to God, our leader, our creator, right? Then ultimately we're submissive to the same thing on the same page at the same time, because we evenly yoked. If we're not evenly yoked, then it's a constant battle and power dynamic that's a struggle. And we're on an always fight when it's time for us to really make those decisions, to make big decisions to what door do we walk through? Or if we're in a rush, do we turn left or do we turn right? Who leads that? So I think that we have to have an understanding, and I think that we have to really understand the dynamic of submission.
Exactly. I agree with that. Exactly. Okay. So I agree with that, okay. So submission should not be seen as, one-sided, but rather as a way to create balance and harmony between, partners or two people.
Correct.
Right.
So let me ask, in light of the video, as you gentlemen were able to listen to, correct? In the view of the young lady that was speaking in the video, in light of the fact of her view of men ought to submit to women because women are the actual leaders in the household, what are your thoughts in that view?
Okay, so I don't know where she got that from, but that's not how it's supposed to be. Okay, so it has to be a balance, right? But if you're gonna walk this life, if you want someone to be submissive to you, then especially a man, then you're gonna, you can't be, you can't not listen. Okay, you have to, a real man, want to be able to provide and to be, and do manly things and to do man, duties, within a relationship. Okay, so especially if the guy, if the woman, makes more money than the man, right? So, but you can't control that person, through your things and the money that you make, right? You're not going to make, okay, you are actually getting a slave. You want a slave or someone, that you can control.
Right.
Right. That's not submission.
Right.
Okay. But yet it is submission under power.
Right. I think here's the thing. I think that understand your role. Understand your role. And in our relationships, we have roles, right? And in those roles, here's the word dynamic. I have a certain dynamic in the role that I play as your man, as a husband, as a father, right? As a boyfriend, as a best friend, as an uncle, right? I have roles. As a brother, I have roles that I play. So when it's my role with it, when a decision or we're in life and we're in the dynamic of my role, then be submissive to that. Again, but as a man, I have to know your role. I have to know the dynamics and the positions that you play in your role, and I have to be submissive to that, whatever it may be, whatever it may be. So there may be some things outside of the house that you have a greater understanding of, that you have more knowledge than me of. So I need to be submissive to that because you know better than I, you know more than I, right? But there's certain things in life, and as a man, I'm just going to know. As a man, I'm just going to know more than you because I am a man. You don't know what it's like to stand up and pee and miss the toilet seat. You don't know what that's like. So you don't know how. Okay, listen. As a man, I can tell you if you don't teach the young man how to aim properly, that bathroom is going to smell like pee. I don't care how many times you clean it, it's going to smell like pee because he's going to miss, right? And so there's things that I'm going to be able to teach that I can't be submissive to. I have to teach him because I know and you don't. And again, raising a young, I have sons and I have daughters. There's no way I can truly teach my daughter how to be a woman complete through and through. There's no way. Realistically, there's no way. I can gather, I can talk, I can study, but I can't teach her some things from a personal aspect. I can't say, baby, I know what it's like when you're going through your menstruals because I have no idea. I have no idea.
You know, I definitely agree
So
with it.
let me ask you guys a question. So submissive, what does that mean to you? Because Levi, I heard you say something about money, and Ty, I'm hearing you saying something about, you know, just the general makeup of roles and positions. When you're talking about being submissive, what does that definition state for you? What is a submissive?
So for me, it's funny when I first found out that we were going to do the show, I immediately looked up the definition of submissive. Right, I immediately looked it up, and I asked myself, well, what does it mean? And I said, okay, it means, by definition, means ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly, obedient, or passive. Right, that's what it means. Ready to conform to the authority or will of others. Now, I would ask any woman, do you want a man like that? Do you want a man like that? Was your father that way? Because a lot of us are your father's your first love. Your father's supposed to be your definition of a hero, your Superman. Hopefully you had that. If you didn't have that, then we have another conversation of submissive men and what it really means or not. I think submissive for me, after reading that definition, it's just really, look, this is not a dictatorship. I don't want to, our relationship is not a dictatorship. We have to work well with another. You know, there's no such thing as 50-50 in my eyes, right? There's going to be some scenarios that it's going to be 80-20 my way. Sometimes it's going to be 80-20 your way. And we just got to flow like that. We got to be like water. We got to flow like that. But if you're looking for someone to have the final say at all times, any times, you're setting yourself up for failure. We have to understand the role in the situation. Again, when I have this conversation with I work with a lot of women, right? And I always actually talk about men being dominant, male. What's the word? Male toxic. Yes. Okay. So I always ask this: if a bad guy came in here and he shot that bullet, you expect me to jump in front of it, right? That will be our first instinct, is for me to jump in front of the bullet for you, right? Because unfortunately, whoever knows, but instinctively, that's my nature. That's my role to play, is to protect you with my life, right? So am I supposed to be submissive then and say, no, you got it? What will we call that man?
We'll call that a masculine man, I hope.
Okay.
But in the
Exactly.
context of that same scenario, within feeding into your definition, wouldn't submissives be how the military shapes their men? Because they conform, they beat them into into submissiveness. They make them conform to a higher power. Why
Well, I think you enter that relationship with an
dynamic? Because you
understanding.
can also feed that same right. You can feed that same description into work. You conform to your supervisor, your manager. Why would this not conform into an everyday life? Does it make you less masculine, being able to submit to a higher authority, or or more?
No, it doesn't make us less of a man. Okay, so actually, okay, men and women, okay, can complement each other in powerful ways. Okay, so with men bringing strength and leadership, and women, contributing, their nurturing and an intuitive, qualities. All right. So, okay, so we all have to submit to something or someone. Okay. Okay. If we have a habit, okay, we submit to a habit. Okay, whatever that habit is. All right. So we all enter into any relationship understanding there's some form of submission. But the thing is, how do the other party, how do they act in that role? Do they take that submission, as being a dominant, leader, okay, without providing any substance, and a in quality and a in value in another person? Okay, that's that's submissive, but that's abusive submissive.
Mm.
All right, so we don't want that. So, yes, I have an employer. Yeah, do I submit? Yeah, okay, I submit with respect. That there's a level. All right, so but as far as my personal relationship, my wife's concerned, yeah, I submit to her, like Ty said earlier. I submit to her strengths, right? Because she is more knowledgeable and more and better at, say, at typing and doing other things, in preparing meals and in planning activities, for the house, and as far as the house structure is concerned.
Right.
Okay, and like Ty referenced earlier, all right. So, hey, if someone come, hey, we walking down the street and someone come up and smack you on the rump, what are you going? You gonna turn and look at me?
Right. But you got
You
it
gonna
though.
say, hey, what you gonna do? And then if you the submissive, and then if you that person that want to be the dominant one all the time, I'm gonna look back at you and say, you better go get it. What you looking at me for? No, don't have no don't have a submission is not a, it's not a, man, it's not a plaything, right? And it's not it's something that, because you have the value of someone's life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know that for some, not all, when we hear the word submit, it's kind of like control. It's kind of like inferiority, superiority, master, whatever, however you underneath that person. And so it makes it hard for people to want to submit. I know we're asking, should men be submissive? And I know this is a topic that is discussed often with women, because in the Bible it meant, it mentions that submitting to your husband. And I know for some of my clients that like the couples that I see, their issue, or the woman, their issue is it's hard to submit to someone that they don't trust and that they can't respect.
Hey.
So when I hear you guys saying that you are submissive to your wife, or I think both of you guys are married, or partner, wife. Well, I'm just gonna say partner. But was this when you first started dating and getting in like your real relationship? Were you always submissive, or were you only submissive when you found that one that you could trust and that you felt you guys had a mutual trust and relationship? I mean, respect for one another. When did you start to be submissive?
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. And if we carried on a little bit longer before you asked your question, that was my next point. Like, submission is not something that's just given. You know what I mean? That's something that's earned. No woman is going to submit to a man that she, one, can't trust, two, don't understand where he's going. You have to have a path. She has to understand where you're going. And you have to be proven that you're capable of carrying that load to get to point A to point B. If you haven't proven that over time, if you haven't put the work in necessary, if you haven't assured her that, hey, listen, this path I'm on, no matter which way we go, I got you. No matter which way we go, we're going to make it happen. I have to build those. That every relationship has to build some calluses up, right? We have to build some calluses up because that's the only way we can get through hard times. So in order for true submission to happen, right? For true submissive or submission, right? Yeah. Only way that to happen is that we have to go through some things. We have to bump our head. We have to, because we're going to have to hit a fork in the road, and I'm going to have to prove to you at some point in time I was right because we went down this way. Now, how we get there? Now, there's one or two ways we can get there. We can hit a fork in the road, and we can go down my way and find out I was right. I was right all along, and you trust me now. Or we can go down your way and it be wrong, and then say, "Babe, I should have trusted you." Right? But that's only in that area. And here's the thing: the beautiful thing about life is you're going to hit that fork in the road so many different times in life, in so many different areas and arenas in life. There's no way that you can say I'm submissive all the time, or I'm the head, I'm the leader all the time for everything. I don't think you can.
Right. Okay. And what about you, Levi? Were you submissive, when you, in all your relationships, or when did you become submissive in your relationship?
Okay, so in all of my relationships with my past girlfriends, and so.
Well, I'm saying when did you become submissive in your relationships? If like Ty said, it's something that is earned. Like, I guess with each relationship, it was a moment when you became submissive in that relationship, or did you never? You never was submissive until you married, your wife, met your wife, and now you're submissive. So I'm just asking you, at what point or points?
Oh no, that happens very early. I would say, it happens very early during the dating. During the dating process. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen after the engagement. It happened during the dating process, because during the dating process, in my opinion, I believe that's when you're going to find out, the strengths and weaknesses of each person. And so if that person's, strength and weakness and morals and values, if they align with yours, then okay, then I can submit to that. So so it's a discovery, in the early stages of the relationship. I can't see myself being in a long-term relationship and and not submitting, because I want to share in the value that person has, and I want to be able to bring out the value that's in that person, in the higher qualities that person has. So I submit early because I want to increase. I don't want to decrease, a person. I don't want to. I want to add value to them, and so in order to add value, I have to submit to to their strengths and weaknesses, like I said earlier.
To you, three beautiful women, right? When you hear the word submit or submissive, right? What do, as a woman, particularly as a Black woman, what do you hear? What is the first thing to come to your, like right now? If you ask yourself right now, you hear the word, your man say, "Babe, will you be submissive?" What's the first thing that comes to your head?
For me, it's to fall under authority of this man, right? And what that means is, like someone had mentioned earlier, you know, I trust this individual's judgment, leadership, where he's taken our family. Our goals are aligned, and I trust him in regards of leading us in that pathway, right? Um, so that is what comes to mind for me, honestly.
Okay.
My first thing is allowing him to lead. I'm allowing him to lead, which then goes to trust. So it's kind of like the same, neck and neck. That's what I thought of when it was like submissive. So what about you,
Well,
Aretha? Love passion.
I
I'm sorry.
believe that submission has a not a dynamic only that applies to relationships, but just in general life. I hear submissive, and I hear a great leader is able to be a great follower as well. So you're able to be a submissive as well as a relationship, whether it be in business. You would be able to submit to certain leadership styles. That way, that you're able to grow from those leadership styles into a better version of yourself. So that's what I hear when I hear submissive.
Excellent. So submission is not about suppressing one's voice or their individuality. Okay. So it's about cultivating a spirit of humility in partnership.
Yeah.
Would you agree or disagree?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay,
'Cause
so
I
but I hear. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask a question. So, in light of the more talked about alpha female or independent female, or females that are having increased leadership in society, um, is it a facade that men are leading the households and actually women are actually leading the households? They're actually in the background making the decisions. They're actually in the background um, pushing the family towards the goals. And men are just becoming more submissive, either by way of society and how society is moving, or just by way of they really don't have or not equipped to actually lead.
It's a two-part. I think it's more than two-part. I think that society. First of all, let me say this: strong men are a dying breed today. They're the dying breed. We are a dying breed, strong men, and a lot of it is because of our background. A lot of it is because of our society, the way we grew up, our educational system, opportunities, things of that nature, right? So there is a dying breed of strong men, right? That no matter what, I watched my grandfather was a strong man. He was out of work one time, and he had no money, and my grandmother was working. And we went out to eat, and I watched her pass him money under the table so he could pay for the bill. I watched her do that. So, but he was a strong man, and the qualities of that, the morals of that's a dying thing too as well, because of TV, society, and now everything is based off of money. Well, this is my money. This ain't your money. You know, if I make more money than you, then you can't tell me anything. How you gonna lead me and I make 10 times more than you, right? So I think that we have to check ourselves, because I think men now are starting to go along to get along. I think that it's hard to find a good woman that has those qualities, that won't judge you if you're not where you should be or want to be in life.
Mm.
Excellent. Hey, in April, the April Michelle. Yes, I agree with you. Okay, so in today's society, we are moving away from the traditional roles, and rightly so, as far as a submission, concern. Okay. However, now that doesn't mean that submission is obsolete. Okay. Rather, it should be I mean, it should be redefined in a way that aligns with the values and in equality and respect.
Okay. And I just want to just go to the comments. And one of our, the comment was from Jay. She was asking submissive to who? And I believe that as we progressed in the show, she was able to realize that we were talking about submissive in relationships. So to men being submissive to their partner. And now we have something from Clifton. He says, to me, submission in a relationship is based on each other's strengths, meaning maybe one is strong in finances or business while the other is strong in other areas. A good relationship lets the one whose strength lead when it applies. Total submission can take away a partner's identity and confidence.
Absolutely,
That was a
Clifton.
good point.
Absolutely. I mean, that is.
Sounds like he's a great husband.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. That's it. That's the key. That's the key. But here's the thing: how do we recognize those strengths? How do we recognize one's strengths? I think time comes in play, maturity comes in play, experience comes in play. Like, you know what I mean? So we have to be able to recognize each other's strengths and not have that male ego to recognize and say, hey, you know what? Babe, you better than me, and this one you got it.
How do we go about destigmatizing the word submissive or submission within a relationship?
Well, I don't
I
know if it has a bad. I don't know if it has a bad connotation to it or not. I don't think so. I mean, to me, submission is. I mean, to me, you love someone, okay, and then you trust them, okay, okay. So I believe that to take the bad, I just think we have to allow society. I think, like I said in my comment a minute ago, we have to redefine it. Okay, because in today's society, it's changing, right? Okay, it's changing to where more women now are becoming the dominant role, like like someone referred to earlier. So you just have to just kind of redefine it, but not in an abusive way, in an authoritative way.
Right.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? Are there certain or is it who has the final say in a relationship?
I don't think there should be a final say, because the relationship should be two people working together for a common goal. So there isn't a leader who does a dictation, who's a dictator.
Okay. So
On final say, you are working together with a partner.
Well, listen, when the kids come and ask, me something, and I tell them no, and then they go and ask mama something, and you say, yeah. Do you say, hey, well, what did daddy say?
Right.
Do you do that? Do you do that first? Or do you say, yeah, go ahead? And all the time, now you're working against your partner.
Right.
But that would be a final say.
Yeah, so my word, so when I say something and I'm correcting the child,
that's it.
Yeah, that's the word. That's final.
Right. I think it's a compromise, because somebody has to compromise what their thought or opinion is to somebody at some point, because there's only two people, and the only way to break the tie would be to have a third person. So there is somebody that has a final say. Now, you might not like how it was termed, but there is one.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess I feel like it depends on what you're discussing.
Right.
But Levi said with the kids, I feel like if they've already asked dad and then they come to you, then yeah, you should always default to the person that they asked first, whether it be the dad or the mother, because they might have asked mom first. Maybe dad is the weaker one. I don't know. But that person, whoever was second, ought to be agreeing with the first, because you ought to have one solid person, right? When it comes to kids.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Because you should have
Right.
already discussed what your parenting is going to be, right? And so you both agree to that parenting and you follow suit, right?
Right.
But when it comes to, are we going to buy a new house tomorrow? Or are we going to do that? I mean, it just depends on what makes sense at the time that conversation is happening. So maybe the man agrees with the woman on that. Maybe the woman agrees with the man on that. I just think that becomes, a compromise, but so, and that's just me in my thought because you brought up, the Bible and all of that, but God says submit one to another. You both should be submitting to each other in some form or fashion.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
Okay, let's bring it home then.
Don't make
All
me
right.
tell my book now.
Okay, let's bring it home then, ladies. Since y'all like to, okay, so ladies wear different types of clothes and stuff like that. Okay, so who has that final say when you want to wear something that's maybe a little provocative or something like that? That's maybe a little bit, more
you should
revealing.
respect
Okay,
man.
so when your man asks you, huh?
You should respect
And your
your man.
man asks you, no,
Right?
baby, don't wear that. That's
That's too much.
that's a little, yeah, that's a little bit too revealing. Don't wear that. Do you have something else?
Right.
I mean, when it comes to something like that, at the end of the day, like when it comes to a person, they always have the final say when it comes to them. We choose on if we are going to, like, we hear what you have to say and we decide on what we're going to do based on that. But that person in this scenario would have the final say because they're like, hey, can I, this is my body. These are my clothes. This is what I want to wear. You may come and say, baby, I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. They listen to what you say. They also think about them and how they feel. And from that, they conclude, from what you have to say. But at the end of the day, too, like in our relationship, it is our foundation is God. And when we can't agree, the word always have the final say. If we can't come to an agreement, it's what's best for the situation, what's best for us, which always fall back on the word. So when my husband and I can't agree, we can always agree on the word. I can't fight that. He can't fight it.
Right. Okay. All right.
I
Because
agree a little bit about what you said, Vicky, but at the end of the day, I feel like if it's something that my husband is really having issue with what I'm putting on,
it's
out of
over.
respect for him, I'm just not going to wear it.
It's over. So
But I didn't
That's your husband, and that's who you really ultimately are looking good for. Also yourself, but I'm saying a lot of times men see things that sometimes we miss, and so a man always wants you to look your best in the light of others. So I just feel like, yes, it is about what we feel good in, but it should also be about, am I also being respectful to my partner?
right.
yes.
So I didn't say I was saying it's still my final say. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. I'm gonna also think about how I feel and I'm going to make a decision from that. I didn't say I was going to or not. That's another discussion, but it's still up to that person. They have the final say on if they decide to respect what he's saying or not. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so now we getting into the thick of it because here's now okay, let's get raw now. Okay, maybe we took the gloves off and we get real.
I'm gonna decide whether or not.
Yeah, because now what you saying to me is ultimately I don't care what you say, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Right.
I want to do it.
No, that's not what it's saying. I mean, at the end of the day, and first of all, I love working with couples. I love working with couples, and I tell you this: being one doesn't mean that you're still not individuals. Let's not forget that. And a lot of time when we are suffering in our relationship, it's because we lose the individuality of it. You're still an individual. Even though we're one, I can respect my husband for who he is. For example, who I am and who my husband is, we're different in some spaces. I love to talk. My husband knows that. So if we're out and about, my husband will respect me at times with letting me get my feel on, my talk on, because that's who I am. He may say, Vicky, I'm ready to go. I don't want to talk, but he still know that who I am as an individual is a talker. So being submissive out of respect of him all the time will stop me from being able to do the things that I love. So it's not just necessarily about what the person say out of respect of them. You're still an individual, and as individual in this relationship, knowing who the other person is, you still have respect for them.
Okay.
So that's I'm not saying it's what I say. I am saying I'm someone too, and I want to be considered too. That just makes the relationship better. So that's compromising too. Like, you got to understand who you marry. If you don't like to talk, and I'm just using this as an example, if you're not a person that likes to talk, then you may not need to marry this person, because now you're changing this person completely because you don't like to talk. So, you know,
So
like if this
true.
person likes to wear clothes that not show off her body, but she likes to wear nice clothes that's fitting, you have to understand that you're marrying someone who clothes will fit. So if this is not your type, don't marry her. Marry the person that have the turtleneck on about to choke herself.
Okay, about the talking thing, right? Okay, that talking thing I think is a great example, right? You marry a talker, you're not a talker, right?
Right.
So, do we ever look at it as though, okay, let's just say I'm not the talker and I'm married to someone that is the talker, right? Do we ever say, okay, I know she's a talker, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give her that 5-10 minutes to get her thing off, but then when I say, okay, babe, I'm ready to go, we gotta go, because I recognize you, because if it was up to me, we'd have been out here 10 minutes ago.
Right. That's the compromise. And that's learning each other. That's look, girl, you know, I want to stay here all day and talk, but my baby ready to go. I gotta go. So I see you later. That's the compromise. That's all that is. But when it's like, because I love my woman or because I love my man, when he said, let's go, I'm going, that's not real. That's not authenticity. And that's what I talk about in my sessions. I need you guys to know who you are. I need for them to know who you really are. I don't need you to just say I'm gonna do it because he's saying it. I don't want it to be any arguing. I want it to be peace. That's not peace. That's a peacekeeper, not a peacemaker. So you need to know who I am. I need to know who you are, and we need to see if this will work and how we're gonna compromise. Because so I'm not gonna always be giving of you, and you're not gonna always be giving of me. But I know we love and respect each other.
Peace, but she won't have peace.
So can I ask the question that the not commands, but the direction, right? Can the direction be given in compromise? Meaning, right? Hear me out. I said I'm ready to go, but when I said I'm ready to go, we go, like we out. But you know, when I said I was ready to go, I was really ready to go 10-15 minutes ago.
Right.
Right.
I gave you 15.
Yeah, I gave you 15.
Right.
That's
so what I'm saying is, so you don't, so don't go, okay, babe, I'm ready to go, and then take another 10-15 minutes because you can leave, you can end the conversation when you want to, when I already gave it to you in compromise.
Right.
So I mean, that's an understanding there.
Okay.
I mean, if you already had, like, baby, I told you, you guys have already had that conversation. This is not the first time, because if it was the first time, you'll be like, okay, you know what, she ain't know, we'll talk about it. But if you're at that where you got to give them some direction, you know, this is something that happens on a regular in your relationship. Just like in my relationship, what we just experienced is really irregular. Like, so it's like, you know, and so you get home or you in the car and you expressing your feeling. It's like, man, I'm sorry or whatever. But yes, that's it. But you expressing how you feel at that moment and what you didn't like, that's great. That's communicating. That's not keeping it in and causing you to sit up here and be upset and mad and resentful at this person because you let it out, and it makes the other person see this person is really serious about this. Let me be more mindful. And I bet you the next time they're going to hear your voice in their head saying, we talked about this last time, and they're going to be, you know, try to close it up quicker because they are aware that I know how it upset him. So yes, that is submission. That is respect. That is compromising.
All right.
And this person says, Toya says, submitted is like be under you, should be beside your man or woman.
Can we read her comment before this? She had another one before this.
Toya?
Yes.
Okay. It should never be about control or domination. It should be about we or a team, but someone has to be captain. Y'all may have captain of kids, dad, but captain of finance is mom or vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. There got to be a GM. It has to be, because when all fails, when all hell breaks loose, someone has to be able to say, you know what, we're going here. You know what? Someone has to be able to do that. Someone has to be able to take it by the reins and say, you know what, family, listen, I know we all a little chaotic right now. I know we all don't know which way to go right now, but we're going that way, and let's go. Someone has to be able to do that, because if not, you're fractured. You're fractured. And,
Right.
and like they say, sometimes when you sprain something, you fracture it, the doctors say you would have been better off breaking it. Fractures are horrible.
Right.
Right.
So how do you guys do that in your relationships? Ty, how do you and your partner decide on who's going to take the lead? Is it always you at the end, or again, does it depends on the situation?
I like to pride myself in realizing when someone knows a little bit more than I do about a particular situation. You know what I mean? But so I'm not an egomaniac. I'm not egotistical. Like if you know more about this situation, I'm going to defer to you, because I'll be foolish not to. I'm a fine believer life is chess. It should be chess and not checkers. And I think a lot of men in that role that they get as a man, they play checkers in their role and not chess. So yeah, that's my sentiments on that.
What about you?
Excuse me?
What about you, Levi?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I submit in my relationship. I don't but I also I'm also, dominant. Right? When it comes to me to be dominant, when it's that time, I show up and I am very dominant. Right? I mean,
So
not
what are
very,
you
not to the point.
dominating at? Like, you sound
Listen,
very traditional when you say
I'm a
that.
man. I'm like what Ty was referring to earlier. I'm one of them old school dudes. Okay.
Man's
So
man.
yeah, I'm a man. All right. Don't get
Right.
it twisted.
You gonna be
I'm
out
a
here
grown man. All right.
So
Huh?
being submissive is not a man. What do you mean when you say
No,
I'm a man?
I'm just saying. No,
I thought all y'all were men.
oh yeah. Listen.
No,
Okay.
not all of us are men. No,
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm a
some
man.
of us are still boys.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, and I'm a
okay.
grown man, and I operate as such. Okay, and so like we was referring to earlier, that if I see something that my wife is wearing something that's questionable, and the reason we men say something about that, what you're wearing, is because it may trigger something in others, right? In other men, which will cause us to have to defend and protect you. Exactly. We had to put them dukes up. And see, and so most women don't understand that. Y'all get hung up on this is me, like you was like you tell your people, hey, this is me. Don't lose yourself. If that's what you want to do it. If you want to continue to talk past 20-30 minutes, then go ahead. It's what I want to do. It's my individuality. Don't be taking that from me. No, it's not about that. We ain't trying to take none of that from you. And for one, we're trying to protect you, and two, it is we done spend enough time running our mouths, so let's go home.
Right. Okay.
So,
So no,
the same can be said for when men are at a football game or a basketball game or, watch party. The same can be said. So, women be ready to go. Their men is tuned into their game like, no.
Well, let's go. I respect that. Let's go. If I know
It's the
that
same
we've been
concept.
somewhere, of course. But see, that's why you stay at home. I'm not gonna bring you with me because I know I'm gonna be at. That's why I'm gonna be at this game. I'm gonna be watching this game from start to finish, right? And that's about 4 hours.
That totally
Huh?
switch from what you were saying.
It
And as a
did.
disclaimer, when
Gotta get left
we
at
talk
home.
about being individualities in counseling, it's not about saying, hey, you're individual, wear what you want to wear. I just want to clarify that because I don't want you to think that that's what's been going on. But I'm
No,
just
I don't
saying,
think. Listen, I don't think
knowing how
nothing.
people are as individual and respecting it. Now, do you let your man, being a man, get in the way of that? Because I said this, I need you to respect how I am as a man.
Hold on. Could you run that by me again?
Okay, because I got a question. When after Vicky runs that by you, I have a question.
Rex, can you say that
No,
again?
I was saying, you being a man, like you say you are. I at first I did the disclaimer of when I was saying that when I'm saying respect the person individuality, like that's still a part of the relationship. I'm not saying to that person, wear whatever you want to wear, do what you want to do. I just want to throw that out there as a disclaimer. but it's just about understanding that you are also dealing. Your wife is an individual. Your husband is an individual. You should know how they are as an individual. This has a lot to do with love languages too, because when you love according to their language and not to yours. And so in order to do that, you need to know who they are individually. This is how you support them. If they, as an individual, they like watching sports, then I know I'm gonna get you a jersey, or I know I'm gonna get you tickets to here because this is how you are individual. And I can't stand it. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna put myself off on you because I don't like it and say we shouldn't go to games or we shouldn't spend our money on that. I know who you are as an individual. So that's what it's about, is being individual. I'm saying with your manness, because you're a man, do you allow that to get in the way of this person individuality because you're the man? That's what I was posing. That's the question I was posing.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said I submit. In my relationship.
Okay. But you said that it was some things where you're a man.
And
but
to the fact that,
what you say, Ty?
It's going to conflict at some point. My manliness will conflict with some things you want to do as a woman. It will conflict. Absolutely. True. Absolutely. So we're going to have a conversation. When it does conflict, who has the last say so?
Right. But that's the word, though, the last say so. You may want to change that, because when you say the last say so, it's not about the last say so. It's kind of like, what are we going to do about this? Instead of the last say so. I have the final. Nobody has the final say so.
What do we agree on?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what do we agree on? So, we have this English language, I didn't know words had emotions in them. Like, I think, so many words have emotions.
Words have meanings. Like, if I don't take on your last name, like, that means something. Words have meanings.
But see, okay, if I married, if you didn't take my last, say you had a business and you had something going on, right? I'm okay with you not taking my last name. Keep going, keep the grind going. I'm okay. I know who I am. I'm confident who I am. I'm your husband. I ain't gonna change. I got you. 110. I got your back. Right? What? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's gonna be some things to conflict, but who has the what we say? What are we agreeing on?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we agreeing on when it conflicts? Compromise?
Right.
You're right. Maybe you can't wear something with all your sides out, but maybe you can wear something with your back out. It's what are we agreeing on?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe we can't stay for the whole game. It would just stay to halftime.
Right.
See, that's why I said that's why you stay at home. Or stay in the car or something. Go down the street.
She say that when it comes to what she's wearing.
You know where I'm going. You know what we're going to do. That's the thing. Just
what
like
if she say that with regard to what we wear or what she wearing? You know where we're going. You know what we're going to do. Why don't you stay at home while I wear this?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and if I don't want to be a part of it, then I'm gonna stay at the crib.
But did you hear what she said? Why don't you stay at home while she wears what she wants to wear?
Yeah, that's dead. Ain't happening.
Why don't you stay at home?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
so how?
Why don't you stay single?
It's how you handle all things.
Why don't you stay single?
Stay on out there. Wherever you going, I'll stay on there.
Yeah, you want a good man. You want your man to be submissive to you. Then, hey, listen, you're not going to wear that. You're not going to wear that provocative stuff, okay? So it's not going to happen, and you know that.
Clifton said clothing is totally different than having patience with your partner's habits.
Absolutely.
Right. So let me ask you this, because we're getting close to the end. What is to be said about the household where the man can't make any decisions? He can't make a decision about where you're eating tonight. He can't make a decision about where you're going to vacation. He can't make a decision about where you're moving. He can't make a financial decision. He doesn't know what the goals are and how to get you there. What do you do then?
He's no man at all.
Yeah, he got a follower.
He is I can't cuss. He's a love buddy. All right, that's what he is. He's a one piece of flesh when you want it. That's it.
Yeah, I don't. Listen, I like making decisions, so I'm gonna make a decision.
See, men take pride. Men take pride and lead in their pride. We take pride in that. So a little bit of what she was saying earlier is some of it's true, but a lot of it, that's someone that's been hurt. That's someone that's chose to let someone lead and they failed and they left her hanging. So you develop those frame of minds. It could have been her last boyfriend, could have been her first boyfriend, could have been her daddy. It could have been someone that was supposed to be there as a man let her down because they were supposed to be there. And man, I say to you, when you take on a woman, that's your responsibility, that's your job, and you're supposed to be there 24/7, 365, 366 on a leap year. And if you fail, you compromise her ability to be able to love you, trust you, and follow you at any given times. So a lot of these issues we have, we made our bed. These are beds that we made because we failed. So, but if you start from the very beginning and you show her that you mean what you say and you say what you mean, you're gonna do what you say and get it done and not procrastinate, get it done, then that woman will lead you because that's her nature. It's in our nature to lead and keep them safe and lead them to the promised land. It's in her nature to follow you and support you or help meet. That's her nature. So is a lot of the stuff that we're going, our relationships have so many problems because we're opposite of our nature. We're like a fish out of water.
Okay. Speak.
Yes.
So, guys, this was some great information, great perspective on what you guys said. And I think that we all we took a lot from this. And so there's definitely some points that you said that I can look at it from your perspective, and hopefully it was some points that were said that, other people can look at it from their perspective. But I want to close on this. First of all, do you guys have a social media handle that you want to give to people so that they can reach out to you or follow you? So with you, Ty.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you can reach me out on Instagram, 215 Unplug. I'm on Instagram, or you can always see what I'm doing. And you can follow the Dallas Elite Mustangs, which is the women's professional football team of Dallas. If you follow them, you'll see where I'm going, where I'm at. I'm always there, always around the organization, supporting the women, supporting the ladies. Yeah, that's it. 215 Unplug on Instagram.
Okay.
Excellent. You can find me at Redox for Life Worldview Podcast on Facebook.
Okay, great. Thank you guys very much for coming. And I want to leave on this is 6 things that it says that submission does not mean. It's not. I'm gonna say it real quick. One of them, and this is, I think it's kind of like from a Christian perspective, but it says submission is not agreeing on everything. Okay. Good leadership often says you were right, I was wrong. Second point is submission does not mean leaving your brain at the altar. Okay. You have a brain, you have your opinion, you have your ideas. Kind of goes back to that individuality. Third one is submission does not mean you do not try to influence your partner. Okay. And then the fourth one, submission is not putting the will of the person before the will of Christ or whatever your values or your beliefs or your morals are. Okay. So if they're telling you to go and sell yourself, look, I'm not going to submit. Submission does not mean getting all of your spiritual strength from that other person. You have your own relationship, you have your own Bible, whatever, you still got to work on you. And then last is submission does not mean living or acting in fear. So I just wanted to put that out there. And I want to thank everybody for watching us today. We really appreciate you guys for taking out the time to come here and, listen to the men as they express their feeling in this safe place. We will meet again. Our next time we meet is July the 24th. It's July 24th. And it's going to be a good one because we're discussing BSM. Do you know?
Domination.
Yeah, domination. And it's kind of like a submission too, but this is kind of like in the sexual way. So I think this would be a good topic for you guys to join us. So Ty, Levi, if you guys are not busy, please join us then. Share.
Sign me up. I'm there.
Yeah, share this with your friends. Y'all go to Bourbon Nights. If you have not followed us, please go there and follow us. Share this post. Okay, tell everybody about it. Again, it's the 24th is our next time that we're going to meet. So thank you guys for coming. You guys, we are again on YouTube and we are also on Facebook at Bourbon Nights. So please follow us, and you guys have a good Bourbon Nights. Thank you for coming.
Alrighty.
Peace
Thank you.
out.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you,
for
guys.
having me.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Yes, thank you.